we look throughout the scriptures, we will find, in a way, a gospel that has been hidden for generations, and only certain groups across Christian history were able to capture God's heart for that, which is the relationship between God and the nations. It is the gospel that God had for the nations. Abraham was chosen to be a blessing to the nations and to father nations. Psalm 2 talked about the father wants to give the son the nations as his inheritance. Zechariah 11 talked about that God had a covenant with the nations that was broken, but God didn't want to leave it broken. He wanted to send a shepherd who was going to be betrayed by 30 pieces of silver to redeem and institute even a better covenant between him and the nations. Jesus comes, he says, I am that shepherd. Everybody, when they heard that, understood what he was trying to say. Last night, before he went on the cross, he took the blood, he took the wine and the bread. He says, this is my blood, this is my body, this is a new covenant. And immediately the disciples understood what he's doing, because it's related to Zechariah 11, that he is repairing the covenant that was broken between him and the nations. He dies, the Father raises him up from the dead, he's ascending to heaven. He says, okay, boys, I've done it, he says to his disciples. Now go and bring those nations back to me, because they belong to me, after all, from the beginning. And even in the book of Revelation, you see God's heart for the nations. He has that leaves on the trees are for the healing of the nations. So I believe, like right now, we need to rise up and begin to think from a whole different perspective, not just in our local regions that we're in, but from God's perspective, that He has the nations on His heart, and how we can reach the nations, and how we can bring that kingdom of our God will become the kingdom of this world.